This is the world of company secretaries. On this channel, you can watch interviews with company secretaries across the world. Make sure you subscribe and hit that bell icon. Sir, going further, a little different tangent I want to ask because you have been seeing different sectors, IT, then sugar, and then power generation, then the banking sector. For someone who's been around for 15 years or more, where do you see the company secretary profession going, and where do you think it can go if all the company secretaries equip themselves with different skills?
It's a very tricky question, of course. Why I say this is from the kind of experience that I've gained is, company secretaries, 50% of the job role is to do a procedural activities. Why do I call it procedural? Is assume you get a new notification today that you have to comply. Once you know you need to comply, it becomes part of your checklist, it becomes process. Every year you need to do it. Every year you need to file EOC 4, MGT 7, these are all part of your routine. There is no much of, I would say applying your mind other than knowing what is required to be disclosed. Once you know what is to be disclosed and why they are expecting this information, once you digest it, it becomes procedural. So, there are two shells. What is coming new and what is in the process.
Yeah.
So keeping this in mind, I can say one thing is that, a lot of regulators are tightening the situations when it comes to regulations. You would have seen that in the recent past, is that the regulators are, though they are giving relaxations in terms of business processes are concerned, but in terms of compliance is concerned, they are tightening the things. So the role of company secretary is going to grow. To my understanding, it will grow, but we need to keep two things in mind. One is that the information of the law is accessible to everyone today, including your bosses, wherever you're working is promoter or non-promoter based. And what you were referring to earlier, that book of big book or small book, it doesn't matter today, because you have a email subscription. Companies Act itself, MCA, has its own ebook available, and a couple of other websites also provide you the complete amended, as on today amended, the entire section is available.
Correct.
Rules are also available immediately next to it. So it's not going to be a big deal or big effort for you as a company secretary, or as, if you are reporting to a CFO, assume you report to a CFO in a listed entity or any other company for that matter. The CFO would be chartered accountant, and he would also be qualified to an extent. Sometimes they are also chartered accountant. Multiple qualification will be there, but their main area is about financial management. So they would know that there is an amendment because they also get a intimation. You will also know because you get an intimation. So what's the difference between you and him? You can't go and explain to him because he also knows, he can understand this. So as I said, 2 points to be kept in mind is the information is available and accessible to all. So what is important is how cost effective way we can ensure compliance to it, yet at the same time see that the company is fully compliant. Second thing is, from the angle of you asked for a versatility. There are different fields which are opening up for company secretaries, and some of them even grown to become managing directors of companies, because they sit in the board, they get that experience, they get the experience of multiple people. By when they share their experience, that's how we get the experience also. Not necessary that you go to experience. You will learn from somebody. You will also get to know what it is all about. So that's another thing. So, why I said this is from the angle of company secretaries should adopt themselves to the new wave that is coming up. So compliance management, sometimes they are going for an artificial intelligence, and some things they are coming out, and compliance management tools are coming up. So some people would find some sort of a complacency or maybe discomfort, saying, what is this? We'll have to simply comply with this. We know Companies Act, we know this, that. But if you widen your requirement, for example, somebody wants to expertise himself in foreign exchange management, income tax. Some people are there in GST. I know a company secretary who is expert in GST. I know a company secretary who is an advocate today Until 11 p.m. at night, there'll be people who will be lined up to get his advice. And, it's a profession where you can expand yourself. So at point of time, you would try and explore a particular territory, but sometimes you end up failure. That is okay. It is just a time and effort which has gone, but not necessary that, either sort of say that, okay, this profession, we don't have, comfort. No, all I can say is you have multiple fields to take care of. For example, you asked me, my interesting area was financial management. So even today also, it also earlier, I focus more on financial management. That's my idea, but that's my area. So that's about investments, and then uh, basically looking at projections, profitability, business model. These are my interesting areas. So I try to focus on this even after my job role. My job role may not be requiring my skills at this moment, but I can keep on polishing my skills to see that whenever I want to come out and do something, I can do on this. This is another thing. And the last point I'm saying is, again, when you ask this question of where the company secretaryship is going to head, is that the company secretaries should understand the businesses in which they are employed. If they are practicing company secretary, whoever is their client, they should know their processes in and out. That is when I can become practicing company secretary. Because if you work in an organization, you know what's the process is all about, how difficult it is to implement a particular thing. So we need to learn this as a part of process. Even if it is a little bit hard, it doesn't matter. But once we learn, you know how to guide. So it's just like a doctor, a profession of a doctor, MBBS. And so since you asked this question of future is always bright for company secretaries. That much I can tell. Provided we understand the business in which we are or to whom we are serving. It doesn't matter how many clients we have, but we should know the business. We should know the financial management. We should know taxation aspect, or even the Companies Act aspect is concerned. They are more or less a regulation of framework. You have a related party, you need to do this. Why do you have to do this related party? Because you are taking care of bank's finance. There is a bank's finance involved, so you should not dilute it. You should not siphon it. This is one reason. Or you have a public money by way of equity or by way of NCDs. You need to protect that. So that is why you need to have so much of stringent policies and processes. You need to see that you are protecting somebody else's asset on which you are dependent for this business. This is the fundamental. So because of these reasons, these laws are there. What is ultimately important is how far you can go to contribute yourself to the being not only cost center, but also towards revenue generation. Can you help the organization by connecting to your professionals in other entities and see that, okay, assume you are in, say, manufacturing or precision tools, which are used in watches or airplanes and all that. So if you have a professional friends who are working in the vendors, company, or you're working in the customer's company, them, try to connect them for your organization. That will widen your, base. One. Second thing is, you are actually helping the management, saying there is another way to look at it. Okay, there is another competitor. So you are actually not only looking at, you are doing your job, no doubt about it, but connecting with your professional friend, getting a client to you or getting a good vendor to you, actually helps the promoters to know that, okay, this guy is not only doing a simply compliance job, but he's trying to connect the dots to see that he is truly working for the organization. I'm talking from employment, but when you are in practicing company secretary, in fact, this process will be multifold. You will have, various types of customers. You will have a bakery unit. You will have a hotel management. You will have, precision engineering. You will have sugar and power industry. You name it, you will have an industry with you. But if you are connected with the company secretaries of those companies, or you are fully handling everything, try and see that, how far you can go one step ahead. Again, it's a general principle of management, is that go that extra mile. As a company secretary, if you go the extra mile of understanding the business, his requirement, and somebody who can fulfill that requirement, if you can fill that gap, they will remember you for a lifetime without any expectation. See, another question here is, I connect him, I need I need to get some billing to be done. That is okay, it's all your policy and process. But connecting them, making them business, making them profitable, they will remember you for lifetime because you help them with their nth hour. For example, somebody is very crucially requiring, in the current world of lockdowns in a couple of states and all that, you see that some of the businesses will be going down. How far you can go in? I'm not saying you should keep on looking at it, but there is an opportunity for you to look in this way that will help the company secretaries to widen their horizon, and the promoters or the company owners will start respecting you more because you're working towards connecting the dots which are required for them. So he will not go out of you.
Okay, I think what you're telling, the biggest takeaway is very interesting. I think, in fact, the first guest on our show is telling is know the business and know the processes. And if you're ready to go that extra mile, you will get a lot of opportunities. I think that's a really good learning which we are getting.